Hello there! One of the most fascinating mysteries of the past century has been that of a monster living in Scotland, Nessie, otherwise known as the Loch Ness Monster. Why does this dinosaur cause so much interest in the populace, and why has Nessie entered our hearts as well as popular culture? Let's dive into the history of the Loch Ness Monster, first taking us back to 1933. That was the year of the first reported sighting of a Nessie by a couple who were driving by Loch Ness. Already from there, the image of a dinosaur with a long neck swimming through the loch became the popular idea of what the monster looked like. A year later, Kenneth Wilson took the most famous photograph of Nessie, which is considered the biggest proof of there being a Loch Ness Monster. Since then, the loch has been a popular tourist destination as many visitors come there to maybe catch a glimpse of the monster. However, everyone has different ideas of whether Nessie exists or not. Throughout the years, many people have said they have spotted Nessie on the lake, and many other people have disputed those claims as hoaxes or just confusing something else for that long-necked dinosaur. One scientist proposed the idea that the famous photograph was actually a circus elephant allowed to swim in Loch Ness so it can cool off, which seems feasible enough. Other theories have been that people actually saw seals, or eels, or even driftwood. On the other hand, if so many people have managed to spot a long-necked monster in that one lake, what's to say he doesn't exist? I think one of the reasons why there hasn't been a clear photograph of Nessie is that, being an extinct dinosaur, those who find him would rather keep his existence a secret so as to protect him from any hunters or fishermen who would sell him to an aquarium or something. Of course, whether Nessie is real or not, that does not stop him from appearing on screens, both big or small, in a fictional light. A number of feature films have been produced that directly deal with the Loch Ness Monster. There was a 1996 feature with Ted Danson playing a disbelieving scientist who goes on a trip to Loch Ness to find Nessie, only to become enriched in the community. If you've ever seen the unappreciated comedy Local Hero, it's like that, but about the Loch Ness Monster, and is fairly typical of that nature. It does have special effects by the Jim Henson Company and has Ian Holm as an old Scot trying to protect Nessie. Meanwhile, The Water Horse dealt with how the Loch Ness Monster befriends a little boy during the Second World War, and follows the E.T. and How to Train Your Dragon mode of storytelling, adding yet another layer to the legend of Big Nessie.
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
The Water Horse, Legend of the Deep.
And naturally, he's been the subject of many animated films and television shows over the years. Nessie played a role in the notorious box office bomb, Freddy as FR07, and probably the first case you ever hear of the Loch Ness Monster singing.
Come on, look alive, 'cause we're the giants of jive. We'll rock you in the cradle of the deep.
Hey, don't look at me, I've just seen this one scene. Most recently, a short named The Ballad of Nessie played before the new Winnie the Pooh movie that just opened. The story of how Nessie first arrived at the loch, it was incredibly charming and funny, beautifully animated, and had a nice story with a good message. Winnie the Pooh is already quickly leaving the local multiplex, so if you don't get a chance to see it, this short will also be featured on the Blu-ray and DVD.
She was rumoured a monster, which wasn't quite right. For she was really a softie with no bark and no bite.
Like I said, there have been countless television shows that have made Nessie the focus of an episode. The Simpsons made an episode where the characters actually managed to apprehend the Loch Ness Monster, and Gargoyles hosted an episode that tackled the subject. Rupert also did an entire episode in which our favorite white bear befriends Nessie, who is of course a friendly monster, but the villain of the story tried to capitalize on her. However, probably my favorite episode related to the Loch Ness Monster was from Phineas and Ferb, in which the two boys become friends with him, originally with the intent on proving he exists, only to later protect him.
Hey, do you still have that little digital camera you got for Bastille Day? Up, check this out. See, boy, your secret's safe with us. Hey, where'd he go? Is it me, or is the Lake Ness Monster easier to find than Perry?
There's also a hilarious subplot with Candace thinking that she spots Nessie, or Nosy as they call him.
See. The Lake Ness Monster! Quick, kid, run as fast as your little legs can carry you. Follow the train tracks north. You should hit Atherton by sundown. London, it's a college town. Get a retail job and save up enough for a bus ticket to the Canadian border. Someone will get in touch with you when the coast is clear.
Candace, is this your Lake Ness Monster?
Huh? Surprise?
You're in big trouble, young man. Okay, just a little prankster. We're safe.
I thought you said this would be funny.
It is! You got in trouble!
South Park also had a humorous running joke in which Chef's parents think that the Loch Ness Monster is always trying to steal $3.50 or $3.50 from them. There have also been notable animated series, one called The Family Ness and the other called Happy Ness. I haven't seen either of these shows, and the off chance I did, I certainly don't remember them. A level in Super Mario 64 even allowed you to ride on top of Big Nessie. And before I end off, I want to mention a little short created by DeviantArt user Jackaray about Captain Ahab searching for the Loch Ness Monster with humorous results, of which I'll provide the link to in the description. In conclusion, the Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, or Big Nessie, or however you want to call him, is definitely one of the most interesting creatures who may or may not exist. Maybe he is out there swimming in Scotland, or maybe he isn't, but you know what? In the end, I think that's up to you to decide. I'm curious to know whether you think Nessie exists or not. For all we know, he could be out there swimming in the loch and playing the bagpipes in his spare time, I don't know. See you next time.
I know a special someone who lives under the sea. He's my wettest friend. He's my wettest friend. My wettest friend. He's not the shortest. He's not the oranges. He's not the one who smells most like masking tape.